Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is February the 4th, 2019. Value your wealth in Bitcoin. Strong hand. Offended by selling. Long-term thinking. Be a unique beast. Unconfiscatable. Holder of last resort. All right, we're back to your regular scheduled programming here. Friday was a This Week in Bitcoin show. Check that out. techbalt.com, techbalt.com. We had a very special show on Saturday. Thanks for all the great feedback on the Saturday show. People really appreciate it. And yesterday was the Beyond Bitcoin show. And we talked about Venezuela with a guy on the ground in Venezuela. And yeah, it was great to hear the truth about Venezuela. Yet I still have people that are like believing conspiracy theorists in Japan over like what the guy who I had on my show who's actually in Venezuela said. Hey, you know what? Personal responsibility is new counterculture. If you want to, you can believe faraway stories, or you can like believe, what's coming from the horse's mouth. Hey, check out yesterday's video though. Okay, so now we're back to Bitcoin, and again, chat for This Week in Bitcoin show. Zach and Abe and Giacomo were on, and it was a really good show on Friday. So check that out. And remember, dude, I think one of the things you can say about this show is that it's all about looking out for the best interest of the long-term, strong hand Bitcoin holders. So, I mean, I think that's I was trying to think of a way to sum up the One Bitcoin show. And again, it's encouraging people to have strong hands and to get their hands on that first Bitcoin. But the things I talk about, I mean, it's just, I'm looking out for me. I am a long-term holder, a holder of last resort, a really strong hand. And when I want to know the best path, and I tell people, control your own private key. Don't play around with exchanges at all. Just, do nothing with your Bitcoin. Be boring with it, and, wait around for your crypto dividends, baby. So, I actually and I'll do a show on this soon. And this is pretty big, I guess. You're getting a little sneak peek of some new thinking here. I think since the Bitcoin holder is the apex predator of holders, that we should get some awesome rewards. I envision a world where all altcoins are given as crypto dividends to Bitcoin holders. That in the future, if you want to create an altcoin, you have to give it to a Bitcoin. You have to distribute it that way. You have to do an airdrop to Bitcoin holders. Wouldn't that be a wonderful world? Pound that like button. But you know what? We can make that world possible. Remember, if we're in motion, if we throw our ideas out there, if we try to organize, hey, maybe we can make a difference. Maybe we can spark our way out of this so-called bear market. Who knows? Hey, it's worth a shot. But I'm going to share some ideas that I have in some future shows. But I want to put that out there on the table now, just show you what I've been thinking lately. Like, that's the awesomeness of the cryptocurrency world, of the Bitcoin world. You can come up with any idea and try it out. Who's going to stop you, man? Who's going to stop you but yourself? And if you care about fitting in, then you'll stop yourself also. You'll give in to the peer pressure and the people yelling at you. But fitting in is overrated, dude. Let's change the freaking world here. And yeah, it'd be very interesting that if and I'm not threatened by altcoins at all. That's the thing. So I'm like, if you want to make your own altcoin, make your own altcoin. But it would be awesome if it was recognized that the only way you can really make a legitimate altcoin is give it out to Bitcoin holders first. And that is, and I'll get into that in a later show. Okay, so let's move on to the news. Because remember here, normies, people like to use the term normies. People who are not into Bitcoin yet, people just in a traditional investment. I mean, they're used to getting interest. They're used to getting interest on their holdings. So, and they're used to diversification for the sake of diversification. Well, what if they could get free interest on their Bitcoin and get free diversification? That would be very interesting. They would I think it would get more people into Bitcoin if you could explain Bitcoin that way, that it is the top tier cryptocurrency and you get all the other cryptocurrencies for free just by holding Bitcoin. And you get that's your interest, these other cryptocurrencies, which you could turn into Bitcoin, or if you want to, for some reason, keep them for the sake of diversification. But okay, future show. What do we got here? Joe Rogan, this is linked to below. Everything I talk about is linked to below, or every article I mentioned, like all the stuff I just talked about, I'll do a future show on that. Joe Rogan had on Jack Dorsey, who's in charge of Twitter, and he said, I believe the internet will have a native currency, and I don't know if it's Bitcoin. I think it will be Bitcoin, given all the tests it has been through and the principles behind it and how it was created. It was something that was born on the internet, was developed on the internet, and was tested on the internet. And it is of the internet. All right, dude. Jack, you've been talking this talk for a while. You've got this big Twitter thing. Why don't you just do it? You can help make it the currency of the internet. So again, Jack's still talking the talk, which is great. It's a positive, but don't get too exciting. And he said it could be Bitcoin. It probably will be Bitcoin. But again, don't be disappointed, people, if Jack gets bribed by Bcash. Why not? They're centrally controlled. They can do that. We're big boys. This is where the big boys play. If that happens to happen, Bitcoin is still the king. But yeah, Jack could if Jack actually walks the walk, he could walk the walk with Bcash. He could walk the walk with Litecoin. I don't know. He could make his own coin. I have no idea. So right now he's just talking the talk. No need to get too excited. But don't get the world doesn't end if Twitter uses something other than Bitcoin as their native currency one day. I look forward to the day that they do use some cryptocurrency, because I think no matter what cryptocurrency they use, it will be big for Bitcoin. It will be good for Bitcoin. All the normies out there will get some sort of action. They'll get used to sending crypto back and forth, whatever it may be. So there's my interpretation. I'm not getting too excited that he was on Joe Rogan again. But all right. So he's talking the talk, but over at Kraken, they're walking the walk. That's an exchange. And they said this is Kraken acquires crypto derivatives trading platform and index provider, crypto facilities in a 9-figure deal. And this is the official press release that's linked to below. Kraken consistently rated the most secure asset exchange leader. Okay, wait a second. Kraken today announced the acquisition of Crypto Facilities, a world-leading regulated cryptocurrency trading platform and index provider. The combination creates a global leader in cryptocurrency spot and futures trading. Okay, they've spent. I think it's positive. They obviously 9-figure deal. They've got a lot of money, and they're diversifying into some other financial aspects of Bitcoin. Financialization of Bitcoin. It's going to happen. Kraken's getting in on the party. Okay, good for them. They're walking the walk. You can read all about it below. I'm going to be in Israel until I know the dates now. I'm just sharing this with everyone. I'm going to be here until March the 12th, and then I will be in Los Angeles from March the 13th until March the 27th. So I'm going to be in LA for 2 weeks, March the 13th to March the 27th. And then I will be back in Baltimore for all of April, probably. April 4th, definitely, because I have to be there during Passover. I also have I have a high school reunion to go to at the first week of May. So it looks like I'm going to spend quite a bit of, and obviously, I want to be back in Baltimore for Passover, of course. But because of everything that happened in November, and there's a lot of stuff to straighten out in Baltimore. Definitely, I'm going to need a lot of time in Baltimore to get my head straight. Obviously, the last time I was in Baltimore was only for 2 weeks, and it was a lot of stuff going on, obviously. And now we're going to take care of business. We're going to have Passover, going to have high school reunion, going to pay my taxes, everything. So April in Baltimore and a little bit of May. And after that, I don't know. But it really, well, there's only a few places I can go until the mourning period ends. And I've talked about that in other videos. And the mourning period will end right after Yom Kippur in October. So after that, I'm free to travel all around the world again. But I'm free to travel all around the world now, but I have to say the Kaddish every day, and you need 10 other Jewish guys to say the Kaddish, or 9 other Jewish guys to say the Kaddish with, and there's not that many places you can do that on a daily basis. You can do it in New York, and Los Angeles, and Baltimore, and here in Israel, obviously. So I'm a little limited in where I can go. Whatever. I've spoken too much of this now. Pound that like button for too much personal information about Adam. But anyway, LA, March 13th to the 27th, and then Baltimore for a month, over a month. And I'm from Baltimore, if you're just wondering, if you're new to the show. And I'm in Tel Aviv, Israel right now. I'm going to be here for a total of 3 months. It'll end up being 3 months. Follow me, and on Twitter, I'm TechBalt, TechBalt, and I'm reading over my notes as I talk. Okay, so I mentioned this prompt. First of all, someone in the super chat, what is this? Colonel Swan Jr. sent $5. He said, just sent you 0.344 Litecoin. Whoa! Because I can. I am my own bank, and only my permission is necessary. Dude, Colonel Swan Jr., that was very generous of you to do such a thing. And again, you control your own Litecoin private key. You weren't a silly person who kept it on, well, you're not from Canada, on that Canadian exchange they're going to talk about that just had a major issue. Or you weren't keeping your Litecoin on Cryptopia either. You control your own private key, and so you sent me some Litecoin, which is very generous of you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Colonel Swan Jr. But again, he's reminding everyone, control your own private key. And we're about to talk about an Andreas Antonopoulos video, which talks about storage of your private key, which I think is the best storage video that I have ever watched, because anyone can understand it, and it calms people's fears. It was, here's the thing. Are hardware wallets secure enough? And that was the title of his video. Bitcoin question and answer. Are hardware wallets secure enough? And the question was based on Trace Mayer talking about all the complex things he does to take care of his Bitcoin. And Trace Mayer, when he was on this my very show back in November, went over this, and many people panicked. And again, this person was panicking to Andreas. They felt insecure because Trace is saying, I do X, Y, and Z. You should do it also. And X, Y, and Z was kind of complicated. And Andreas says, no, you know what? If you're as skilled as Trace Mayer, then yeah, do what Trace Mayer does. And he said, there's even ways of storing your Bitcoin that's more secure than what Trace Mayer even does. That's more complicated. But he says that over ambition, that you don't want to get over ambitious. You don't want, don't go above your tech level. If you go above your tech level, that's not good. You might think you're doing something safer. You're going to try to do what Trace does, but you don't fully understand what he does. That's not good. That's putting your Bitcoin at risk. You're much better doing what you can do, and that is the hardware wallet. You can do that. I think most people can do that. He gives some he gives some really common sense advice in this. Avoid moisture and fire for your paper backup. For when you write down your recovery seed for your Trezor or whatever storage device you may have. Watch the entire thing. It is linked to below. And again, this is when people ask me about storage in the future, I might just say, just watch this video, dude. Just watch this video. Now, with all that in mind, with me raving about this and saying, giving a summary of what Andreas said, saying this is the best storage video that I've ever seen, let me read you a comment that was left under the video. Because in the title of my video, I said, lessons learned from Andreas's storage video. I mean, some of the lessons you can learn are if you actually pay attention to his words, and then you know not to be over ambitious, and you know what's safe, and you know how to keep, so you won't lose your recovery seed. And that's something you can learn. But here's another thing you can learn. And this is more about the crypto world today. And this is a comment that was ranked number 4 of all the comments left. This one was upvoted to a place where it was the 4th most popular one under his video. And I want you all to think about this long and hard. I do appreciate a lot your content, Andreas. Thank you a lot. But please fix your mic. Audio is oversaturated and not crystal clear. That is the 4th most popular comment underneath his video. I mean, some people, it's like nitpicking is a hobby. I mean, and this is, you know, you get advice from a freaking genius, and this is the comment that you leave, and that many other people upvote. 4th most popular comment. No fancy sets or graphics. Pound that like button. All right, moving on. Let's talk about this Quadriga CX analysis here. So there's a report, chain analysis report, part 1, Bitcoin wallets. All right. So it's studying, you know, what really happened here. I didn't read the whole report, but here's the bottom line. Quadriga, whatever this is, Quadriga CX. Look how I butcher the name. It was the number one. It was the number one exchange in Canada. I don't even know because I control my own price. I don't trade Bitcoin. Pound that like button. But they apparently the owner died. So I mean that's sad. If he really died, that's sad. You don't wish anyone death, any good person death, and now they can't get a hold of the $147 million in it. Well, there's $147 million in crypto that they have accounted for, but they owe $190 million. Okay. And so they were practicing fractional reserve right there. Okay. And so a lot of people are very suspicious about this. That now magically they can't even get a hold of. Well, they don't know how much they can't get a hold of because he died. They don't know how much was in the cold wallets that he only had access to. So I linked to an article about that. Some of the Litecoin just moved. So this is pretty sketchy here. And again, I mean the bigger lesson to all this is don't leave your coins on an exchange. But another lesson is these guys, you think you put your coins there, they're probably not real. There's some fractional reserve lending being practiced by some of these exchanges. And it looks like this one was maybe the death is a cover up to kind of distract you or kind of, make an excuse. Maybe he's run away. Who knows what happened? Who knows what happened? But you can read that report and an article about it linked to below. All right, I've talked about this coin burn thing before with Bprivate, and this will probably be the last time I mention it because I don't think a lot of people really care. The reason I mention it is, well, I'll mention once the coin burn happens, I'll be very interested to see the results. If the price of Bprivate goes up, then you better believe a bunch of other altcoins out there are going to start burning their coins. I mean, let's see if this works. Let's see if this becomes a trend. But the Bprivate people, just in case you're involved in this thing, a reminder to everyone that the removal of unmoved Bprivates occurs at block height 400, whatever, likely around February 16th. So it's very soon, less than 2 weeks. We therefore strongly encourage anyone to move their unmoved coins since the fork date to a different wallet address. And then let me read you another a funny comment under that tweet. Mine were on Cryptopia. How is that being handled? Ouch. I don't know if that was a joke or not. And again, if yours were at Cryptopia, you're not getting them back, dude. Cryptopia is not open anymore, man. It's unfortunate. But if you do, I guess if you had Z Classic and you didn't, you never split your, you never played with your private key, or you never risked your I would not recommend risking your Bitcoin private key to try to get like an 80-cent Bprivate. But whatever, if you know what you're doing and you really care that much and you don't want to lose your Bprivate, you gotta move them if you haven't ever moved them since the fork. All right, and if you've claimed them, that means you've moved them, I believe. And I'm more interested in seeing what this coin burn actually does. Okay, if it actually works, if they're able to pull it off, and if how's the market react to all of this? If it's a gimmick, and that other altcoins will choose to go that gimmick also. I mean, again, I think it's, you read about these altcoins with so many of them. I mean, I think it's some of the numbers are just outrageous. 500 million of them. Why do you need that many? Get rid of the ones that never moved. Try the gimmick out. All right, let's see. This is a blog post. Why monetary maximalism could fall short of expectations. Okay, I'm going to read you the conclusion of this article. I'm going to give you my thoughts. While we don't fundamentally disagree with the idea that a big winner could emerge from the battle of monies in the ultra long run, there are also significant counter forces at work to prevent Bitcoin from being that winner. Whoa! So point 2 there. Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. There is no there. If you think that means, and they didn't mean this, that some other coin is going to eclipse Bitcoin, that's not happening. Now, what they're saying, that there are people out there that expect Bitcoin to be in the future like the current currency of the world, monetary maximalism, because everyone's smart and everyone wants the best store value, and Bitcoin will be that. So like in the future world, everyone will use Bitcoin. And they said that's hard to get to that point. And I agree with them. It is hard to get to that point. That people are always going to be addicted to fiat, and there'll be other things, and centralized government coins and government. I mean, all this nonsense is going to exist, and they give reasons why all this nonsense will continue to exist. There are always going to be altcoins. Now, this is the other thing. I also think that on the cryptocurrency level, I think forever there will always be others, but Bitcoin will dominate. It will, be 90% market share. Who knows what it will end up, but it won't end up 100%. I just think there will always be people out there that produce other cryptocurrencies. There'll always be little niches. There'll always be someone trying to create something new outside the Bitcoin realm. So read the article, but I didn't want anyone to think like, and I don't think they're saying this. Well, I mean, I think they actually leave open the possibility that maybe a coin could surpass Bitcoin, but no, that I do not agree with that part of it. But it's an interesting article. Read the entire thing, and yeah, that's the end of the show. Then pound that like button, bang that bell button, subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video. I'm Adam Meister, Bitcoin Meister, Disrupt Meister. Click on those squares you see if you're watching this tape. New show every single day. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and I'll say hi to you guys in the chat. Thanks a lot again for the super chat. Bye-bye.